I can't stand Ben Crump. I've met him. I've spent some time with him. A fraud and a phony. Can barely speak English. It just shocks me that we've allowed this man to bamboozle us. He's a psyop. Saturday's 54th NAACP Image Awards highlighted the inevitable consequence of the abandonment of God's natural order for the matriarchy and the enthusiastic adoption of racial idolatry. LGBTQ plus is the new black, or black is the new LGBTQ. The Alphabet Mafia defines and controls black culture. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is America's oldest surviving and viable civil rights organization. Founded in 1909, financed by white Jews, and fronted by black elitist W.E.B. Du Bois, the NAACP started as a group fighting for equal rights. Shortly after the passing of civil rights legislation in the mid-1960s, the NAACP, at the behest of its financiers, pivoted to its new role as the premier gatekeeper for black popular culture. In 1967, Sammy Davis Jr. launched the NAACP Image Awards, an annual event to honor the outstanding performances of black people in movies, television, music, and literature. The awards stand as a cultural barometer and a high-profile pat on the head for the black celebrities who best exemplify the values imposed by Hollywood. Hollywood values alternative lifestyles and behaviors antithetical to God's design. Here's how Yahoo News headline baited readers to click a link about the latest Image Awards. The best moments from the 2023 NAACP Image Awards, including Nico Anand, Brittany Griner, Queen Latifah, and more. Queen Latifah hosted the show. Latifah is the 52-year-old rapper turned actress who is lesbian. Nico Anand, who is gay, is the star actor on the show P-Valley. Brittany Griner, who is a lesbian, is the WNBA player who spent several months inside a Russian prison for smuggling a small amount of hashish. Latifah, Anand, and Griner headlined the NAACP Image Awards. That's the image Hollywood and the NAACP are promoting of black people. LGBTQ is the new gay. When we're not being gay, we're being led by strong black women, like Angela Bassett. Bassett won Entertainer of the Year for her role in Wakanda Forever, a Marvel and matriarchal fantasy movie about a group of black women who saved the world. Bassett beat out Viola Davis for Entertainer of the Year. Davis starred in The Woman King, a historical and hysterical fantasy flick about a tribe of black female warriors who stopped the slave trade. All the candidates for Entertainer of the Year were women. Same was true a year ago, except for gay rapper Lil Nas X. The NAACP's choice for Best TV Drama was the series P-Valley, which is short for Valley. P-Valley depicts the struggle of strippers and a gay strip club owner, Anand. Remember, the NAACP is about the advancement of black people. Its award show allegedly shines a spotlight on performances that enhance the image of black people. Valley? Really? That's the best we got? Nico Anand's role as Uncle Clifford, the gay club owner who is banging a young rapper, is the best in black television? He won the Best Actor award. Here's a clip of his acceptance speech.
Wait a minute. When they say God is good, I know it is so. I go. See, there's a few that don't know. May I have your attention? I go. One more time up top. I go. Yes, my God. I want to. You already know who I serve, and that's the Lord. And I'm used, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the artists that participate in creating this story. I want to dedicate this to every 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old plus that did not have space to be themselves. I want to thank each and every one of you that are here tonight, watching at home, but that are dining at this table, this family table where we can have conversations. And it was told to me one time, may you dine at the tables that you build with dreams too brave to be broken, with cups and plates that runneth over. Those are the words of Katori Hall. And I thank that woman for this opportunity and creating a space that we can look at our cousins and sisters and brothers with love, dignity, and respect as they fly through the ceiling. Thank you to my team. Thank you, Mama, Daddy, for loving this black boy right here. And thank you for loving this.
Yep, within the next 5 years, I expect the Image Awards to adopt a category for best black performances in porn. Why was Brittany Griner brought on stage for a special recognition? Griner's notable accomplishment was getting arrested abroad. The truth is, the NAACP honored her because she's non-binary and married to a woman. Griner took the stage looking like tall Trevor Noah or Colin Kaepernick with a haircut. Why did Griner's wife join Brittany on stage? Did Angela Bassett's husband join her on stage? Griner's wife was on stage because the NAACP wanted to send a message to the young people watching that Griner is special and worthy of celebration because of her sexual choice. The NAACP has no interest in advancing the cause of black people or promoting a positive image of black people. The NAACP is using black people to promote the BLM-LGBTQ Alphabet Mafia agenda. We, black people, are so ruled by racial idolatry that we adopt and promote any agenda labeled as black, including agendas directly opposed to religious principles and values. LGBTQ+ has been labeled black, so our pride dictates we adopt the agenda of gays, lesbians, and trans. Listen to Gabrielle Union spell it out.
A new era that demands our collective answer to one simple question. Will we fight for some, or will we fight for all of our people? Let's just name a couple hard truths. First, the intersection of black rights and the rights of the LGBTQIA, trans, and gender nonconforming people continues to be rough. That's a huge understatement. Even as we demand equality at the top of our lungs, we consistently fail to extend our advocacy to protect some of our most vulnerable among us. And second, black trans people are being targeted, terrorized, and hunted in this country. Every day, everywhere. And there's rarely a whisper about it.
Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union are raising a son who identifies as a woman, and they're treating him as a woman. I have great empathy for them. But this whole thing that black people, we're gay victims. That's the identity Hollywood assigned black people. We're defined by our sexuality and the amount of discrimination we can claim we endured at the hands of white people. Our preferred pronouns are dead, incarcerated, gay, and trans. We all hope to be represented one day by the illiterate lawyer Benjamin Crump. The NAACP honored Crump with its Social Justice Award. The mush-mouthed Black Lives Matter ambulance chaser gave a rousing speech to much applause. Crump, like Annan, referenced God as the inspiration for his work. Take a listen.
And thank you to God and my beautiful family who are the greatest source of my inspiration and my extended family, all of those who have fought with me throughout the years to make liberty and justice for all a reality. I promise I will use this Social Justice Award as greater incentive to fight against the legalized genocide of colored people and vow never to stop fighting racism and discrimination when it rears its ugly head. We are prepared to fight for Black history in and outside of the courtrooms just as hard as we will continue to fight for the George Floyds of the world, for the Breonna Taylors of the world, for the Ahmaud Arbery's of the world, for the Trayvon Martins of the world, and now for the Tyree Nichols of the world, and all of our children that have been taken from this earth far too soon. Because we have to stand up for our children's future, we have to speak up for our children's future, and we have to fight for our children's future. Because if we don't fight for our children's future, we can't expect anybody else to fight for our children's future. And we have to be prepared to fight for our children's future until hell freezes over. And then we have to be ready to fight on the ice.
I can't stand Ben Crump. I've met him. I've spent some time with him. A fraud and a phony. Can barely speak English. It just shocks me that we've allowed this man to bamboozle us. He's a psyop. He's controlled opposition. He's a plant government agent that's getting paid. The using of these useful idiots to take us down a path to destruction just blows my mind. And again, rattle off the names, standing on the back, collecting paychecks off the names of dead people is an embarrassing profession. And then to dress it up, well, we're fighting for our children's lives. Are we really? Is that what you're really doing? Or are you just running around collecting money, Ben? Or are you just running around chasing ambulances and profiting off of other people's tragedies? What we saw Saturday night had nothing to do with God. It was testament to what happens when a group of people make themselves idols and serve their own desires. NAACP should be disbanded. It serves no purpose at this point other than leading Black people astray and away from God, and then dressing it up and calling it God's work. That's what they just did. I don't have a problem with anybody's personal life, but don't dress it up as God. That's like me coming on this show right now and dressing up my gluttony as God wants me to eat that fried chicken. You don't have to do that. When you're outside the will and the design of God, stand on it. Don't try to cover yourself with God when you're standing outside of God. I wasn't serving the Lord when I was hanging out in strip clubs 3 days a week. That's what they sound like to me. Standing in the middle of a strip club, talking about I'm serving God. God's my inspiration. That's why I'm here tucking this money. That's what Ben Crump sounds like. I'm benefiting and running around the country, profiting off death and tragedy, but I'm doing it for God. No, you're not. You're lying. You're using God. And I'm embarrassed that we tolerate it. We tolerate Ben Crump and that we allow people to take our inconsequential skin color and justify any and everything. The LGBTQIA plus silent P deal is not a Black thing. It's a byproduct of our disobedience to God. That's what it is. And so when you start wrapping yourself in it, what you're basically saying is black people are in disobedience to God. Claim it, stand on it. Don't lie about it. Don't try to dress it up as some kind of social justice movement backed by God, because it's not. The Nico, Annan, whatever the dude from P Valley, don't dress up your disobedience as blessed and anointed by God. It's not. I can't dress up my lust. I can't dress up my promiscuous behavior and say it was sanctified by God. You can't either. The whole thing is just so sickening and disappointing that this is what we're putting out to the kids, that this is who we are. That the NAACP, that's supposed to be there fighting to protect our image and advance us, put on the gayest LGBTQIA plus silent P friendliest show that could ever be on national TV. And they called it a celebration of black excellence. What has Brittany Griner accomplished other than being tall? If Brittany Griner was 5'6", like most women, do you think she would be in the WNBA? Do you think we would know her name? She'd just be some tatted up idiot running around. But because who she chooses to sleep with, she's a national celebrity, and getting arrested trying to smuggle a small amount of drugs into Russia has made her a hero, and the NAACP must rush to put her on stage. You get arrested, and that qualifies you to be honored? And she didn't get arrested protesting some injustice. She did nothing heroic. But let's bring her out on stage, and let's bring her wife out on stage. And Brittany, you cut your hair and dress up like Colin Kaepernick with a decent haircut. That's who she looked like. Do we have a close-up picture of Griner there? I saw some in the deal, but we didn't show a real close-up. I'd love to get a side, and I meant to say this morning and tell you, I would love to get a side-by-side picture of Brittany Griner and Colin Kaepernick. Brittany Griner and Trevor Noah. That's who she looked like, suited and booted. That's why they put her on stage, to tell your daughters, this is what black excellence looks like. That's Brittany Griner on the left. That is not Colin Kaepernick. That's not Don Lemon. That's not Trevor Noah. That's Brittany Griner and her alleged wife. Let's roll out to North Carolina, bring in Shamika Michelle. Shamika, what do you, by the way, you look awesome. Thank you for brightening my day. What do you make of the NAACP Image Awards?
Well, Jason, for a while, the NAACP Image Awards has felt like the Special Olympics of awards. And this isn't a slight to anybody that participates in the Special Olympics, but it's called that because they say people have intellectual and physical disabilities. And that's exactly how we are starting to portray ourselves as Black people. Everything that, we feel like we can't get in a regular award, just give it to those people of lesser quality, who's putting out movies of lesser qualities, but they're Black. And apparently our Black skin is a disability, because that's the reason our standards are so low, is because we're Black. And so I don't like the Image Awards, and I think your monologue on it being LGBTQ, and the P is not even as silent anymore when we get to what they're doing to Dwayne Wade's son. The P's not even silent. The P is starting to speak up louder and louder as the days go by. So I thought it was a mess. And I could rattle on and go down the list of people that were just disgusting to me during this whole program.
It just blows my mind. What's the other explanation for Brittany Griner being honored? What heroic? She got the Merchant of Death sprung from prison. That's her contribution to the global society. Is her irresponsibility made America have to give up the Merchant of Death, a terrorist, for her release? That's her contribution to society. Let's honor her. Let's shower her with applause and affection because she did something so irresponsible. She's a hero now. How? Why?
You called it, because she is a lesbian. And I'm almost starting to get to the point where I want to say he, because something's a little fishy about this whole thing to me. But you called it. There's no other reason for her to be up there. Why? Exactly why. She wasn't being awarded anything. She didn't deserve any type of award. People have gone to prison and gotten out every single day, but they aren't called up on stage and made this big spectacle of. The only reason she got this was because she's lesbian. And we heard Queen Latifah praise Black women as being superheroes and saying this isn't a role that we chose. It's not a role we chose or a role that we're in, Queen Latifah, unless that superhero is Handyman. You remember when Damon Wayans played on In Living Color and he was Handyman? That's how Black women look, thinking they're actual superheroes and we're doing something out of the ordinary. It was so much that I didn't understand the whole, there's only females in the Women of the Entertainer of the Year category. They gave Will Smith Best Actor for, a motion picture for a film nobody even watched. Like the whole thing was a joke. And it was like, toss Will this little crumb here because we don't even look at him as a strong Black man anyway. So he's not gay, but he's close. It was just, everything was just a joke to me.
Can we recover? And literally, those are the questions. When I watched this weekend, I'm just like, can we recover? And if so, how, other than, someone called me this weekend talking about, someone sent me a video of kids at maybe Hampton or some university, some HBCU, where the girls put together a video where they were shouting out they love Black men. And someone said, hey, what do you think? And I was like, it's cute. It's a nice little virtue signal. But I'm just got to be real, man. I'm looking at these white kids at Asbury University and around the country have this religious revival, and who knows whether it's good or bad, but they're going to church and praying nonstop for weeks at a time. That's what we need to be doing more than putting together TikTok videos, because I'm just like, we're so controlled by this racial idolatry and so controlled by the Democrat left. Can we recover?
I don't know if we can recover, Jason, because according to Gomer Crump, there's a legalized genocide of colored people. I had no idea until his speech that there was a legalized genocide. And then he's talking about we need to fight for Black history. A lot of our kids can't even read. I would have loved to see the video that you were sent over the weekend, because all I've been seeing are videos of Black kids walking out of schools schools in protest over Black history. Number one, you can't read. And then number two, y'all are arguing about an AP African American Studies course. I don't see you all arguing about being in AP chemistry or physics or math, because we accept them telling us we're too stupid to get in AP classes for that. But let's hold on to that Black history that talks about our skin color. No, it doesn't matter that the in Baltimore these kids can't read. Let's hold on to this Black history. Let's stand up in the Image Awards and hold our fist up. Black power, power to the people. But we aren't even doing what we're supposed to do for our kids. Talking about we need to fight for the future. You're going to fight for them, teaching them how to read, teaching them how to stay out of the street and killing each other, teaching them to marry before they carry, teaching them that if he's not going to stick around, he can't stick it in. This is how we're going to train our kids for the future. And when Gabrielle said something about, or it was maybe Dwayne Union, because that's what his last name should be, especially after giving the man the last word. He said something about, he wanted to facilitate the freedom of his daughter. We're supposed to train children in the way that they should go. Too many people are trying to be teammates instead of trainers when it comes to parents. That's what we need to be doing for these kids, being trainers, not teammates. And this is a 15-year-old little boy that they have pushed out here to be this poster child for transgender. It's sickening. And the fact that he let this abused woman, who obviously has an issue with men, she never got maybe the healing that she was supposed to after rape. She don't even like men, if you ask me. And yet this is who we're pushing out here as a model parent, giving them the President's Award. I don't know if we can recover, Jason. I know we got a lot of work to do because we have gotten out of hand.
Terrible note to end the show, because I'm legitimately depressed, and you did not help with my you just repeated my thoughts. But thank you, Shamika. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.